Kurt, why the church without walls?
Well, I realized in my day-by-day life, I would be walking past these men, mostly men and women, but mostly men, in New York, Chicago, and now London. And I noticed that they were just there. Nobody was reaching to them. Nobody was speaking to them. Very few. I began to speak to them. I realized that these people would not come into churches. They would not. They weren't the ones that would just normally come to a church on a Sunday morning. And I realized somebody had to just talk to them, reach to them. I realized also, David, that they're human beings. They're people who are made in God's image. And I began just to spend time with them. I began to sit on the curbs with them. I began to stand on the street corners with them. I realized that many of them had no money or had very little money. I began to bring sandwiches out in the streets. I would buy them cups of tea, juice, bring fruit to them. I began to become part of their lives, find out where they're from. It was amazing, just that the whole stories that we have of these men and women, educators, some with 2 degrees, master degrees, PhDs. And I realized that there had to be a time within the gospel has to reach these people. Jesus said that he's come to preach good news to the poor. And these people not coming into the churches, I realized the church had to go to them.
Let's talk about the food for a second, because your biog says this. Church Without Walls has served over 34,000 cups of tea, distributed 19,000 sandwiches, 18,000 hard-boiled eggs, 5,000 Kit Kats, numerous boxes of fresh fruit, as well as countless sweaters, gloves, shoes, jackets and hats. Kurt, how is this funded?
It was funded just by the gifts and offerings of people who support the ministry. We have no major corporation support. We're a very small ministry, but you know, from a very small kernel, a very small seed, God can produce huge oak trees. And God doesn't matter. He's not concerned about how much we have, David. It's about how much that we use. I mean, from the very small, we get funding coming in from people just with gifts and offerings, basically, and people are willing to sacrifice. Not only with the finances, but also with the time. We go out on the streets early Saturday mornings. I arise 5 o'clock every Saturday morning. It's a joy to me to make and earn a tea. I mean, I don't care how long.
Stop. What do you mean, rise at 5 o'clock in the morning and it's a joy to you?
It is a joy. It is a joy. I mean,
does 5 o'clock in the morning exist?
It does exist. I mean, before I was in the business, I used to see the 5 o'clock from the other side, and now I'm seeing it, you know, with waking up, and the sandwiches are prepared during the night. The tea is hot tea. But we go out there, David, but I tell the guys too, this is not a free deli service. We're not there because simply just to meet their physical need. Because man is more than just flesh and blood. There's something on the inside. There's a spark of God within every single person. Everyone is made in the image of God. And this is what drives me. And to wake up at 5 o'clock is no burden for me. It is a joy. It's tiring, but it's a joy. And we're out on the street by 6:45, 7 o'clock, we're there.
We've been out on the street with you, and we've actually seen in action some of your workers working with these dispossessed, poor, drug addicts, alcoholics, whatever. How do they cope with this?
They have the same burden that I have. They have the same vision that I have. See, we not only, and you know, it's amazing because a church without walls not only reaches those in the street, but it touches those who work with us as well. We've had businessmen come out with us. As a matter of fact, there's one businessman who came out with us, and he's a real high flyer. And he has these business meetings during the week, and he's talking to the presidents of banks and others. And one Monday morning, he was at this business meeting, a very posh restaurant. And they asked him, his colleagues asked each other, what do they do over the weekend? Well, this businessman began to talk about the church without walls. He was on the street talking to the homeless. And during this business meeting, he begins to break and weep over the lost. And for all his colleagues that are so removed from this lifestyle. And I asked the Lord, what do you want me to do? And I was living in New York City, 46th and 9th Street. And something as simple as, he said, Kurt, look out your window. And as I did, again, in New York City, I saw a string of homeless men laying in the gutter. And I heard the Lord say, go feed them. And from that time, David, every Saturday morning, or it doesn't matter if it's a Saturday or Tuesday night, whatever, almost every day I've gone out. But every week I've been on the street since 1986. Because God did not give me a time limit. He did not give me some geographical location that would just stay forever. If you're faithful with a little, God would give you more. And so it started in New York City. Then I went to Chicago, and now I've been in London for 15 years. And listening to these stories, I just asked the Lord, Lord, make my hands your hands extended. Let me have your heart. Jesus, let me see what you see. I want to cry, Lord, the way that you cried when you looked over Jerusalem and wept. I want to feel the heart of God. And I want my hands to be the hands of God. I want to see people being changed. Social programs are good, but they may change the clothes someone wears and change the way they think, perhaps.
They change the physical, don't
It doesn't change the heart. And the Lord changes the heart. I've met some guys who are quote-unquote career street guys. And, you know, they may not want to hustle. They may not want the things that social services give them. But they want to live. There's a breath of life that God has given them, a spark of life. They're made in the image of God. And that breaks my heart to see what the effects of sin, the effects of humankind, and just basically they're just throwaways.